Alright guys, let's take a look at tutorial or TUT on the channel for the first time. Now, there really is no news driving this. If we look at CoinGecko here, usually news is listed here. I have also looked at their Twitter account, or their X if you want to call it X, but there's really nothing here as well. Now, I am not really sure what's driving it, except that BNB is pumping once again this morning. And you can see that BNB is struggling with the top of this Fibonacci here, and we need to break this really. Now, we're not going to really do much TA on BNB though. I do want to look at tutorial still because we need to see the dangers and what's going on here with the RSI, Bollinger Bands, and things like this. Now, again, as long as you don't really fall under this trend line, the trend is intact, so that's a good thing. And it has broken above this resistance here at about 7.8 cents. So again, another good sign, but we need to look at the indicators to see how much more strength this has. Now, looking at the volume profile here, it is well above the point of control at the moment at 3 cents, basically flat. And yeah, you can see that all of the volume was pretty much down here below about 3.5 cents. And there really is nothing holding it back volume-wise. Now, jumping over to the Bollinger Bands, you can see that the weekly time frame has actually just started printing in August, so it's not much information to go off of, but basically it's not pinching, we can say. Now, the daily time frame, it is pretty narrow, we can say, but it's not as narrow as it was back here, and it still actually didn't get a pop. So, again, you know, these lines are kind of coming into one. Now, looking at the Bollinger Bands on the daily time frame, basically it did come in a little bit here to pinch, but it's still pretty fat, we can say. It's fat, I like to say, like an intestine pretty much. Here you had a lot more narrowness, and maybe even we can call this point a pinch, but it didn't result in any run either up or down. I mean, we do have this small pop up and then we pop back down, but it's nothing like this pop over here. So a little bit interesting to see that, you know, this was coming in on each other just slightly, but I don't think this pop is, you know, basically due to the Bollinger Bands. Now, jumping over to the RSI and Stochastic here, the RSI is very overheated. Stochastic actually just crossed the red line here to the upside and is not overheated just yet, but we do have a mixed signal here, unfortunately. Now, 4-hour time frame, both are overheated. Actually, it looks like they're both about to start, you know, going down here. The 1-hour time frame, they are actually both coming down, but the RSI is in overheated territory. And yeah, it looks like, you know, this blue line tried to cross the red line here on the Stochastic, kind of got rejected, so it's pointed down pretty heavily at the moment. Now, 15-minute time frame for fun, because this is a really low time frame. Both are actually pointed down here. Stochastic very heavily down, just crossed the red line as well, but it is in neutral territory. But yeah, this RSI is kind of sliding down at the moment. So again, if we put this on the 4-hour time frame, let's get rid of these. You know, I think this is probably at the end of its mega run, guys. You know, if I were you, I would not invest my money in this right now. I would wait for it to settle, honestly, you know, and see where it just kind of consolidates for a while. Now, one more indicator to consider is always the MACD. So you can see that it has very green candles here, and these are the biggest green candles it's ever seen in its history. So that is interesting to see. This blue line is very heavily pointed to the upside, so momentum is up for this token, guys. But still, like I said, I would wait to see where the cards settle here. Now, jumping over to the tokenomics of tutorial, it's around the number 430 coin, although that keeps going up and down pretty rapidly at the moment, up about 132% in the last 24 hours. Now, max supply, 1 billion here. Most of these tokens are circulating, so that's a good thing to see. Now, all-time high, as you know, is pretty much today. All-time low, if you picked it up here back in February, it says 7 months ago, wow, 57,000% up. But I don't know why people would have picked it up back then, except for the fact that it's on the BSC chain. You know, it's a Binance chain, which is fine. But again, guys, look, what is tutorial about? Basically, it's a token created by a developer who made a tutorial on launching a token on the BNB chain about 10 months ago. So what real use case does this honestly have? Now jumping over to BNB here again, just want to take a look at it. It definitely needs to clear about $1,010 here. It is struggling, but hey, it's only been here a few days, and I do think it will push through this 1010 mark. Again, I do expect BNB to go up to about this line here at a minimum, around $1,500. That's probably where I'll start taking profit. Now, I do believe it can make it as high as about $2,000. So anywhere basically in this purple would probably be a good point to take profit, in my opinion. Now, that is not financial advice. That is just the range that I plan to take profit. It definitely could wick up to this, top of the Fibonacci here at $2,345. But I just don't think I want to wait that long and take that risk, So I've already made 5 times my money in BNB. I bought 10 personally myself, all for probably a price of about $200. So, if I can get it up to about $1,500 to $2,000, that's more than enough for me personally. Now jumping over to Bitcoin quickly here, we did lose this support here at 115,726. But again, these lines are never perfect, guys, so I could probably adjust this and, we might be above it. But anyways, doesn't truly matter. It's a daily resistance in my view. We need to get well above it. We probably will come over and touch this trend line. Now, this trend line goes back to the 1st of September. As long as we don't lose this trend line, it's still not bad in my opinion. We're just basically consolidating here with Bitcoin. You can see we did have this inverse head and shoulders. We did reach that target, and yeah, we need to see what's coming next. Now looking at Ethereum, we do kind of have a flag here. Just where to put these lines, it's kind of hard to decide. Maybe I can do something like this. It actually lines up a little bit better with all of these touch points here. Very hard to say, guys. But if I leave it here where it has the most touch points, we can say this was a fake out. Basically, if we take the target of this Ethereum breakout, if it breaks to the upside, that would mean the target would be somewhere, let's put that there, at about $5,400. So if it goes and breaks out to the upside, that's the target. Now, if it breaks to the downside, that target would be about down here at $3,560. So right now, I don't think that's the more likely scenario. I do believe the more likely scenario would be to the upside, just because the bull run is probably not over, guys. There's a lot of indicators still showing that, nothing has happened. We're not reversing right now, at least. I do think personally we have several more months, at least till the end of the year, maybe January, February. And, probably that's when I scale out, even if, I don't see many indicators indicating that, especially if everything is going up wildly. So, yeah, that's the targets for Ethereum. And, I do think Ethereum will make it personally up to about $6,000, maybe $7,000. And that actually, pretty much corresponds with the top of this Fibonacci here. Total market cap is just slightly under 4 trillion at the moment. We did lose this 4.01 trillion daily support here yesterday, unfortunately. But basically, guys, we're just consolidating, I would say, here. And we're still moving up. The trend is still up here. You can see we haven't made any lower lows, basically, so this is a good sign. Now, total market cap excluding Bitcoin, still, we actually haven't reached the bull flag breakout target officially, although we only fell 0.01 of a trillion short here, which, basically we did reach it. But we are struggling with 1.71 trillion on a monthly time frame here, but we still have about 10 days in September. So, I do believe personally we will make it above 1.71 trillion, but we have to do that, guys, to continue. Now, one of my favorite charts here is the Bitcoin dominance, and we are under 58.12%, so that's a good sign. Did get a little bit of a bounce in the last couple of days, but I just think that this is a little bit of consolidation here before the next leg down to 56.77%. Now, we will eventually, make it down probably somewhere between about 48% here to about, let's say, 40%. So once we reach this area, probably that's a good place to start selling your alts. There are some weekly supports before we hit that, and I probably need to mark off more before we hit this area. But yeah, still looking good on the Bitcoin dominance in my opinion. Now, the USDT dominance did get a little bit of a bounce yesterday. It actually reclaimed the 4.31%. Again, we're looking at this on a daily time frame. Now let's look at this on a weekly time frame. You can see it's fighting with this line. So as long as it, stays under this line, that is actually a good sign. That shows that it would retest, 4.31% and get a rejection. But right now, currently, it's sitting pretty much right on the line. Let's see if tomorrow night it closes and we get, a rejection basically. Now, wildly enough, the altcoin season index is at an 84 at the moment. So it's a little bit strange in my opinion because I don't have as much money as I had as a few days ago. So a little bit strange. I would have expected this to go down, honestly. Now, the liquidation heat map, $284 million have been wrecked in the last 24 hours. Not too bad, actually. That's pretty tame. If we look at fear and greed, 48 today. So we're in neutral territory. But we're starting to get almost into that fear level here. So next update is in about 18 hours here. And yeah, let's see what happens with that. Now, the bull market peak indicators, still 1 from 30 have been hit. Basically, that's just the altcoin season index. And in my opinion, is that really a great, indicator? I mean, it's just one of the indicators, but I would say the best indicator is the Pi Cycle Top indicator. And it's only about 60.31% progress at the moment. Now, if you look at this list, most of these indicators are not even above 90%. Actually, there isn't a single one above 90. They're all about 87 at the most here. So, yeah, most of these indicators are even well below that. So, 97% hold at the moment. It only has a 3% sell. So yeah, if we look at the Pi Cycle Top indicator here, you can see it's not even really close to crossing. Now next week on the economic calendar, Monday we just have one speaker basically. Tuesday we do have some PMI numbers. Bostic is also speaking. Wednesday is pretty much a dead day except for daily speaking. Thursday we have durable goods, we have PCE prices, GDP. We got at least William speaking here. Bowman speaking here, Vice Chair Barr speaking, Daly speaking. So a lot of speakers on this day, at least 4 speakers there. Now Friday is probably the main day where we have core PCE price index. We have personal spending. We got Michigan numbers. And do we have any speakers? No, it doesn't look like we have any speakers on Friday. But yeah, basically Thursday and Friday are the most important days next week when it comes to economic data. Looking at Moodyx, actually we had a nice day yesterday and the week was very green. Month is green, year is green, guys. It's looking very good here on Moodyx. The sentiment is still risk on and that trend is growing. So risk on assets mean crypto assets, guys. So that is a good thing. Now if we go to the FedWatch tools, it's a 91% chance that we're going to get at least a quarter-point cut, but there's still an 8% chance that we're not going to get any cut. Now, if you look at Polymarket here, a little bit different numbers at the moment, but there's actually a 1% chance that we're going to get a 25 basis point increase, which would be insane in my opinion. Now, Trueflation showing about a 2.21% inflation. If we look at crypto bubbles, not too good today, but in the last hour that looks better, so let's keep it that way. Anyways, if you want to stake your tutorial, guys, go to Coinondo. There's only one deal that I found on HTX, and it's flexible for 5%. Now, I don't really like HTX so much. I've done a video. That was actually my first video in the past. It actually got a couple thousand views on it, and that's why I continued YouTubing. Anyways, guys, if you like this video, like, subscribe, activate the bell. Use those links down below, guys, and sign up for some exchanges. Check them out first, though. Do your homework on them. And, guys, I really appreciate it, so much, and we'll see you in the next one.